whoever made the NFL schedule this year had a little bit of fun when they decided to give the Bills Tom Brady a week after facing the Patriots on a short week. I feel like that's almost poetic how they decided to line it up. Oh yeah, you're going to go from the one team that owns them. I think they play the
Patriots the week after too. I think they got a Tom Brady sandwich in between.
Actually, they do not. Games. They face the Panthers and then they face the Patriots once more. So there is going to be a layer of cheese in between there. I guess you would literally say a layer. No, because I enjoy cheese. What would the Panthers be the equivalent of? Tomatoes. I don't like tomatoes on my sandwich. Yeah. I'll be honest there. So in that sandwich, you do got a layer of Cam Newton tomatoes, which, hey, is also kind of appropriate, kind of Patriots tied, I suppose. Of course, the Bills were able to get those victories when they faced the Patriots when Cam Newton was under center, whereas can't do it when Mac Jones is completing 2 of 3 passes for 17 yards. Let's pull up the stats there, because I thought some of the stats surrounding that game were the biggest storylines here. Per Adam Schefter, Patriots' 3 pass attempts were their fewest in franchise history and tied with the 1968 Chiefs for second fewest in a game in the Super Bowl era. Bills once attempted 2 passes a game versus the Jets in 1974. Patriots also became first team since 1978 Saints to rush on 90% of their plays. It was the Bill Belichick special. I think you mentioned it. That is like his dream scenario, to be able to just have a game in which he just runs the ball consistently and doesn't have to have it all tied back to his quarterback. This, for me, brought up memories of the 2019 NFC Championship game where Jimmy Garoppolo had, I believe, 7 or 8 passing attempts in that game, in a game.
Oh, I can give you the fun stat from that one. Is that Jimmy Garoppolo went 1 hour and 58 minutes of real time without throwing a pass.
Yeah, it was a real fun time for me as I saw Raheem Mostert just going up and down the field, but it just brought up the issues with the Bills this season. You mentioned their run defense wasn't as good as we thought it was. Obviously, that got exposed against Jonathan Taylor a couple weeks ago, and the Patriots made sure to double down on it by Damian Harris having a huge day against them as well, over 200 rushing yards for the Patriots in that game against the Bills. One thing that shocked me as I go to Bills Twitter to kind of get their thoughts on the game, you realize there's a contingent of Bills fans out there that are legitimately making a case, man, we should fire Sean McDermott. Man, Brandon Beane, get rid of him. Come on, guys. Let's pump the brakes here. Remember, the Bills were a franchise in disarray, in turmoil, prior to these 2 guys showing up on your doorstep and turning this franchise around. Yes, though, the Bills go into this game. They are currently 7-6. And if they lost this one at 7-7 in a tight AFC playoff race, that doesn't make you feel too good about it. The Buccaneers have started to get hot here, validating my MVP pick. Tom Brady is currently the Vegas betting favorite as he had another 4 passing touchdown day against the Atlanta Falcons. Tom Brady continues to be a monster that just will never go away. Speaking of monsters in your closet, yeah, that's what Tom Brady is to the rest of the NFL. He certainly is that to the Bills. Let's look at Tom Brady versus the Bills. I just got to see what these total stats are.
It's ridiculous. It is quite ridiculous when Tom Brady plays against the Buffalo Bills. It's been 20 years of dominating that. We better not give him the MVP. Like, just on principle, we better not give him the MVP this year.
You know, it's funny, whereas you look up other rivalries and everything like that, usually it's the first thing that pops up, the total stats versus it. But considering Tom Brady's been doing this for so long, it is honestly so buried in the Google results here. Here we go. StatMuse. Let's see Tom Brady's career record versus them. 32-3. 32-3 Tom Brady is against the Buffalo Bills in his career.
Oh my God.
Let's take a look
amazing.
Here. 8,669 passing yards, a 64% completion percentage. His touchdown to interception ratio is 70-25. So almost 3-1 with a 97.9 passer rating. So yes, if the Buffalo Bills have PTSD going into this game, it is definitely well earned as Tom Brady continues just to dismantle and own their franchise. They're also going into Tampa Bay. The Bills are, and Tampa hasn't actually lost a game in Raymond James in a very long time. I believe their last loss in Tampa was against the Rams last year with Sean McVay on that Monday Night Football game, because hell, they even win the Super Bowl in Tampa. So overall, I think you know where I'm going with this pick. I am going with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because I think ownage is ownage. I think that whatever year it is, the Yankees will beat the Twins. Whatever year it is, the Seahawks will beat the Niners. or whatever year it is, Tom Brady will beat the Buffalo Bills.
I'm tempted to add some spice into our life with this pick, but I can't do it because Tampa's been amazing this year. Tampa has been unbelievably good at football, and maybe we're going to give Tom Brady the MVP at a just concession at 44 years old or 43 or whatever he is now. It's kind of ridiculous at this point, but he is third in passing yards this year. He's going to be top 5 in passing touchdowns. Completion percentage is up, top 3 in QBR this year. He's been more consistent than any other quarterback in the NFL this year. It has been a good year for Tom Brady. For all those reasons, I think the Bucs are going to score a lot of points against Buffalo. This is not to say Buffalo can't score a lot of points. If you were to ask Buffalo, who's an ideal matchup for you, it's a team that struggles to defend the pass at worst in the league levels and is really good at stopping the run.
I have a counter in that. They have actually gotten better in their passing defense, and I think it goes by the fact that they actually have gotten their corners back. Sean Murphy-Bunting's back. Carlton Davis is back. And fun storyline of the week, Richard Sherman is actually taking some practice reps at safety. So they're actually making that much needed move that Richard Sherman probably knew he had to make at some point in his career. He's moving from corner to safety. And the fact that they have a healthier secondary and they're getting good interior pass rush from Ndamukong Suh and Vita Vea, I think this has really turned around the Bucs defense as we move forward. So I don't think they're going to be as reliant as they have been on the passing game moving forward.
I think you're probably right here. And Tampa has one of the best defensive units in the NFL, regardless at this point in the season so far. I think they're ranked 3rd according to DVOA right now. So, very strong defensively coming into this for Tampa Bay. Josh Allen would like that matchup a little bit. I don't know what the case is for Buffalo this year in figuring that out. The good news for them is that even if they do fall to 7-7 this week, because after losing to the Patriots, it feels pretty certain they're going to be, a wild card team this year. Whether they're 5 or 6 doesn't really matter. It's just a matchup, but they'll probably be the 5 seed in the playoffs this year because yes, they may fall into a tie with some of those other teams mixed in for the wild card spots, but they have Josh Allen, and those other teams have Derek Carr and Ben Roethlisberger and, Joe Burrow, who's a fine quarterback still. Like those ones I'm not going to crap on because the young guys have been pretty good this year. But Josh Allen gives me pause for hope for Buffalo, especially once they start playing some of the bad teams on the back end of their schedule. So, like the Panthers and the Jets will make their life a little bit easier in cushioning them to get into the playoffs. Buffalo is in a weird place right now. I know Sean McDermott got clowned a little bit up for saying we should pause on giving Bill Belichick credit. And I'm going to defend Sean McDermott here on this good podcast, because think about it this way. If Tyler Bass makes that field goal from 33 yards directly into the wind, it's a 14-13 game. And then at that point, on the next drive with 6 minutes to go, the Patriots would have gone -1 yard run, incomplete pass, screen pass for 5 yards, immediately punt back to Buffalo. That would have been Bill Belichick Josh McDaniels technically, but Bill Belichick and Josh McDaniels are one and the same right now. It's like the scene from Austin Powers 2 where Mini-Me and the Dr. Evil are dancing. That's basically what McDaniels and Belichick are at this point. So if that's in that moment, they're punting back to Buffalo, Buffalo moves immediately down the field, and Bass gets to kick a field goal instead of, Josh Allen missing a read to Stephon Diggs and then missing a route where Cole Beasley goes right and he throws it left and the game's over. They can at least attempt to kick a field goal again into the wind from about the same extra point distance they had last time. Buffalo wins the game. Patriots lose. We're all making fun of Bill Belichick for choking at the end of the game. It's a weird results-oriented business at a certain point that's going to, keep Buffalo from getting the AFC East title and give it to the Patriots now, instead of, Buffalo being 8-4 this week or 8-5, and then coming in and not getting, Buffalo comes in and they're in first place. Now they're guaranteed to be a wild card team. So it's that simple sometimes on the results there. Enough has been dissected about Buffalo this year. It feels like we talk about them, every other week. We know what Buffalo is. They're a fully formed team. They can win any given week against any of the teams in the
formed,
AFC.
I have problems with here, because one thing that we saw in that Patriots game, they have no running game. The fact that they can't consistently run the ball with Devin Singletary, Zach Moss, Matt Breida, whoever they put back there, I think is a problem. And particularly in this matchup, it was always going to be a problem against the Buccaneers that they couldn't run the ball. But now you really can't, because your running game isn't up to snuff with them. And they're going against one of the league's best running defenses, which just puts too much pressure on Josh Allen. The Bills moving forward, if there's one fix, one correction they have to do, they have to get a running game. I don't know if that's through free agency. I don't know if that's investing a top draft pick, but they got to do something about this. And they need a back that really fits their style of football that they need to play in the NFC East. They need a bruiser. They need a guy that can really just put his shoulder down and make it hard for the opposing defense. Maybe, and that might be an option for them. They just need someone that when the going gets tough, you can put it in his belly and just tell him, go, push forward for 3 yards. Give me 4 yards of carry. They don't have that right now. So I think that complete team is a stretch because they still need to fix some spots. They have a great wide receiving unit. Obviously, Emmanuel Sanders, Stephon Diggs, Cole Beasley. Their offensive line could use a little bit of work too. I think that they do have issues there, but every NFL team, I'm convinced at this point, has offensive line issues. It's hard to evaluate good offensive linemen. There's very few teams that I think actually go into a game and say, oh yeah, our offensive line is set. But Josh Allen has had to be playing hero ball too often in his NFL career by virtue of having to scramble outside the pocket to make things happen. And you go against a team that has great interior pass rushers, like I mentioned with Vita Vea and Ndamukong Suh, that's going to cause issues. Shaq Barrett, he's going to cause issues. The linebacker play with Devin White. They are going to be in a struggle in this game just based off the core positions that they are missing. They are close. Obviously, they were in the AFC Championship game a year ago. I think that's part of the problem when we talk about the Chiefs. Expectations versus reality in 2021 for them. They have not lived up to their high, lofty expectations. They were supposed to run away with the AFC East this year. The AFC East was supposed to be theirs year in and year out moving forward. And they're not in the position where they thought they were. And I think that's where a lot of Bills fans' frustrations are. But hey, guys, at a certain point, it's just like, you just have to call it what it is. The Patriots are daddy. Get used to it.
They're used to it at this point. In fairness, I did not say that they were a complete team. They were a fully formed team, which means they're going to suck at running the football. This is a given at this point. I have 2 years of sample size to see. I've been waiting 2 damn years for Devin Singletary to break out. It's just not going to happen. Buffalo is going to suck at running the football. They're going to suck at stopping the run. They just lost Tre'Davious White on Thanksgiving. That is a huge blow. I would say the second biggest injury this season, other than Ronnie Stanley going down.
That is
for
huge.
The Baltimore Ravens.
We didn't even get a chance to see that matchup too, because the Patriots only threw 3 times. The Bucs. Yeah. I mean, come on. It's the Bucs.
Oh gosh, this is like just night and day, because now you're just going to get hit all over, like just wet fish Gronk, wet fish Chris Godwin, wet fish Mike Evans. No Antonio Brown anymore, but still the wet fish Scotty Miller. Scotty Miller still hanging out there. Haven't heard much from him recently, but anyways, Buffalo can beat any team in the AFC except the Kansas City Chiefs. That's my basic conclusion for them. They can beat every
the Kansas
team
City Chiefs.
Yeah, but that was before, Kansas City got everything working again. That was back when they were still able to stop the pass. Mm-hmm. Kansas City,
they're winning games, yes, but do they have everything working?
Buffalo's entire playoffs will come down to matchups. Who Buffalo matches up with in the playoffs will determine whether or not they win 1 or even 2, or maybe in a weird universe, 3 playoff games this year. They have flaws. Every team has flaws this year. Buffalo was close to being able to survive that and beat the Patriots because they have high upside offense. Josh Allen, although he's not as good as he was last year, still very good quarterback, and very young, very good quarterback, which is the gift that everyone is looking for in the NFL across, 10 years. Well, really 20, 30 years, but having a quarterback set for 10 years is the thing every team has strived for, what Buffalo's been striving for 30 years. So to that point, it's good luck to you, Buffalo. You're kind of in the second tier of teams right now, and part of that's injuries, part of it's inability to stop the run. Tampa Bay is going to have a day with you in terms of moving the ball on offense. Can you score enough points to keep up?